am Dr. Shobana, Professor of Pathology, Sree Balaji Medical College and Hospital. I have 10 years of experience in undergraduate and postgraduate teaching. I have 20 publications in various national and international journals and 3 undergoing research projects. Today we are going to discuss about hepatitis. The objectives for today's class is definition, etiology, morphology, clinical features, laboratory investigations and treatment. Hepatitis is the injury of the inflammation of the hepatocytes. Causes, viruses, drugs and toxins, autoimmune. Since the predominant cause is viruses, we are going to see about viral hepatitis. Viral hepatitis is defined as viral infection of the hepatocytes that produces necrosis and inflammation of the liver. It is caused by a group of hepatotrophic viruses which are hepatitis A, hepatitis B, hepatitis C, hepatitis D and hepatitis E. Hepatitis A. Hepatitis A is an non-enveloped 27 nanometer RNA virus. It transmits by fecal-oral route. Incubation period is 3 to 6 weeks. It is a benign, self-limited acute hepatitis. There is no chronic infection, no carrier state, no fulminant hepatitis in this hepatitis A. Fulminant hepatitis means there is massive necrosis of the hepatitis and the treatment is only liver transplantation. And prophylaxis is improved sanitary practices which avoids the fecal contamination of water and food and vaccination. Hepatitis A vaccination confers lifelong immunity against hepatitis A virus. The diagnosis is by demonstration of the hepatitis A virus in the feces during the late incubation period and the early icteric phase. So after its disappearance, there will be appearance of anti-HAV antibody in the serum which indicates recovery and this confers lifelong immunity. Hepatitis B virus. This is a DNA virus, belongs to the family Hepatnaviridae and the HPV virion is spherical and double layered and it is called as Dane particle. The mode of transmission includes vertical transmission and horizontal transmission. Vertical transmission means the transmission occurs in utero from the mother to the fetus. It also occurs during parturition as well as in the postpartum period. Horizontal transmission is the most common mode of spread in hepatitis B virus. It occurs by parenteral route and by close contact. Parenteral route includes percutaneous and mucous membrane route and intravenous route. Percutaneous and mucous membrane occurs by exposure of infected body fluids as well as by minor cuts and abrasions in the skin and mucous membrane. Intravenous route occurs by transfusion of blood and blood products without screening the blood and blood products. This mode of spread is very rare nowadays as we are routinely screening the blood and blood products for hepatitis B virus as well as for hepatitis C virus. The close contact occurs by sexual intercourse, both homosexual as well as heterosexual. The HPV DNA identification by PCR analysis is helpful in confirming the diagnosis of hepatitis B virus. The prevention is by vaccination by hepatitis against hepatitis B virus for all healthcare professionals and the screening of donor blood, organs and tissues. The genome of hepatitis B virus contains S gene, C gene, P gene and X gene. Each codes for a specific protein which is important for the viral replication as well as the infectivity. The S gene codes for hepatitis B virus surface antigen which is immunogenic in nature. The X gene codes for hepatitis B X protein which is important for viral replication and pathogenesis of liver cancer. And P gene codes for hepatitis B virus DNA polymerase which is essential for DNA replication. The diagnosis of HPV virus is very important. It includes 2 stages. One is acute infection and the other one is the chronic infection. In acute infection, the first virological marker that appears in the serum is hepatitis B surface antigen. So this is immunogenic in nature and after its disappearance, the anti-HBs antibody appears in the serum and it persists lifelong. and this is the basis for current vaccination against hepatitis B virus, where we inject non-infectious hepatitis B surface antigen. And the markers of viral replication are hepatitis B E antigen, hepatitis B virus DNA. These are not for diagnosis but for prognosis. This indicates viral replication. And the hepatitis B core antigen will not be found in the serum, but the anti-HBC antigen antibody will be found in the serum. The anti-HBC antibody indicates recent and remote infection. The IgM indicates recent infection. IgG antibody indicates remote infection. In case of chronic hepatitis, all the markers of viral replication as well as the hepatitis B surface antigen persist in serum beyond 6 weeks. So, in this there will be progression to chronic hepatitis. And then hepatitis C virus. This is the most common cause of chronic liver disease, most common indication for liver transplantation. It is an enveloped single-stranded RNA virus which belongs to the family Flaviviridae. HCV RNA may be detected from blood and liver tissue, and it is the direct evidence for infectivity. Mode of spread is the same as hepatitis B virus, which includes vertical and horizontal transmission. The incubation period is 2 to 26 weeks. Then the diagnosis of hepatitis C virus. The hepatitis C virus is diagnosed in the serum by the identification of hepatitis C virus RNA. After its disappearance, the anti-hepatitis C virus antibody appears in the serum. But this antibody will not confer lifelong immunity because of the genomic instability of the virus. So, because of this, it is difficult to develop an effective anti-HCV vaccination against this virus. And summary, hepatitis A virus is a single-stranded RNA virus, transmits by fecal-oral route, and the diagnosis is by IgM antibodies in the serum. Hepatitis B virus is a double-stranded DNA virus, and this can cause chronic hepatitis, cirrhosis as well as hepatocellular carcinoma. Hepatitis C virus is a single-stranded RNA virus. This is also a most common cause for chronic liver disease. Hepatitis D virus usually occurs as a co-infection and superinfection along with hepatitis B virus. This can also cause chronic liver disease, cirrhosis and hepatocellular carcinoma. Hepatitis E virus spreads through fecal-oral route, but it is very rare in this disease for chronic liver disease. And the laboratory findings in viral hepatitis includes liver function test, hematological test, serological test and liver biopsy. Liver function test includes serum aminotransferase, which can go up to 400 to 4000 international units per liter, serum bilirubin, serum alkaline phosphatase, serum protein, and in the urine bilirubinemia, bilirubinuria and increased urinary urobilinogen will be there. Hematological test in this the CBC, which shows neutropenia, lymphopenia followed by lymphocytosis. The PT, that is the prothrombin time, will be prolonged and ESR will be increased. Serological test, which we have seen already for individual viruses. And then the last is liver biopsy. When it is difficult to identify the disease or to diagnose the disease, we can go for liver biopsy. Going on to the morphology of acute hepatitis, there will be inflammatory infiltrate, ballooning degeneration of the hepatocytes, which is the swelling of the hepatocytes, and it will have pale cytoplasm. And the hepatocytes will undergo apoptosis, and those apoptotic bodies are called Councilman bodies, and there will be bridging necrosis. There is portal tract inflammation and Kupffer cell hypertrophy. There are certain individual features for individual viruses. There like ground glass hepatocytes in hepatitis B virus, and when you do immunoperoxidase stain, the hepatitis B surface antigen will be identified inside the cytoplasm of the hepatocytes. The hepatitis C virus will have portal tract inflammation and ductular reaction, that is proliferation of the bile ducts. When you go for chronic hepatitis, all the morphological features of acute hepatitis can also be present in chronic hepatitis. But in addition, in chronic hepatitis, there will be bridging fibrosis. This fibrosis is the hallmark for chronic hepatitis. And there will be continued loss of hepatocytes and fibrosis, which is resulting in cirrhosis. So, cirrhosis is the end stage liver disease. In this condition, there will be irregularly sized nodules separated by broad scars, resulting in cirrhosis, end stage liver disease. And this can also end up in hepatocellular carcinoma. And the treatment for hepatitis, we have to treat the underlying cause with antiviral therapy. We have to give supportive care to the patients, and in the final stage, liver transplantation is the only option, which is usually done for fulminant hepatitis, cirrhosis as well as chronic liver disease. With this, we have come to the end of the session, and I will meet you in another interesting topic. Thank you.